All right, little rule clarification here. Trying to figure something else out. The playing scenario in this game that we're playing, Rule of the Seven Seas, gives points for traps. And I was talking with Durr, who's another tournament coordinator, and we were talking about whether or not um, whether traps should count as controlling lakes because you get $2 controlling lakes. And he was saying, well, territories do not count. Um, territories, traps by themselves do not count as controlling lakes. That's what I was saying. You say, well, no, traps do count for in-game scoring. Um, and he and I just had different ideas, basically, about whether or not a trap by itself would be considered controlling the lake dog. And I think that's kind of important. And I think Dur just went to sleep. He and I had different ideas about this. I was saying that I thought that the traps, since they don't control territories during the game and they just count for in-game scoring, that they would should the traps should essentially not count by themselves. You should have to have a unit there for Tog. But he was thinking that they should count as controlling it. They do control for in-game scoring for the I'd say no. You have to a combat unit because it just says they control for purposes of in-game scoring. But our decision on this isn't going to be binding on the rest of the tournament until we've had a chance to decide. So I'm hashing that out with them right now, just so we're all on the same page. Why do I have an encoding overload? Because my HDR keeps turning on and off. Need to fix that on the display, I think. All right. Yeah, that's just what we're trying to figure out here. And let me update the bidding here because we are not playing these bids. This is from yesterday's game. We are playing any of these. These are the starting bids right here. Minimum bids. So to bid on something, you have to bid at least that much. Let me make sure that everything else was clarified. I think we're good to go on everything else. So trap on its own is not going to grant the lake bonus. You need a unit. All right. It's time to get started on the bidding. How we doing this morning, chat? I gotta turn off FreeSync Premium on my monitor over here. Driving me crazy. It keeps flipping the on and off when I'm using the other monitor. It's a Windows 11 glitch apparently. Uh-oh. All right. So I bid first. Not gonna bid 74 on Nordic. We're just gonna bid the 6 on Polania Engineering, which I think is the way to go. Now I gotta copy it to the Discord. I don't think it will take long to get outbid. The Polania bid here is kind of low, in my opinion. And if you're not familiar with this, what the minimum bid basically means here is they have to. You want Polania, you can't just bid at 0 like you normally could because. Okay, well that was quick. They both outbid it. So that's Prince Ali's bid. And I am going to raise it to 9. And then that was always going to be easy to bring it up to 9. The decision making happens after that. Because it is going to get back to me at potentially at the option to take it for 11. And that is kind of borderline territory, I think. That becomes a bid that gets difficult to make toward the end of the game. Things don't go exactly far. Yeah, I don't know, Garrett. We clarified before the game started. The tournament needs to rule on this going forward after our game. Okay, yeah, it did get back to me at 11. Wait, it got back to me at 11? Oh, it comes back to me for 12. Oh, so Prince Ali bid 11. That is 8 above Nordic. Well, so here's the thing here is that I don't want to go Albion Industrial. Not really. I mean, Joy had an amazing game with it yesterday. But the reality of it is it's just famine or feast. He got an enlist factory card. And if the factory turns out to be worthless, you're just probably done. But you can be a pretty big nerf to Melania. So I think if I bid 12, I probably get it. So let's bid 12. And then I think my I think Tagawa's my next go-to. Although I was talking to Sir last night, I think one thing that doesn't get talked about enough with the innovative board is that okay, Tom jumps in on Nordic at 4. I think one thing that doesn't get talked about with the innovative board enough is that how much of a gamble it is, considering how hard, and this is even more true of Militant, a 6-star is if you don't get a doable objective. You just put yourself at a tremendous disadvantage. I feel like people, me included, will wow, okay. Prince Ali went with Polani Engineering at 13. So that is now 7 more than Tagawa Innovative. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just trust you two not to just let the other ones stomp you and into the game before I can get in there and do something about it. All right. I think I'm going to do it. It's not official until I post it over in the Discord here. This is what I'd be looking at. So 2 for Tog, and essentially I'd have a 2 bid and he'd have a 9 bid. 7 difference. I mean, I think that's fair. All right, do this. Date it on the screen here. I thought after Joy had his game yesterday with Tagawa that some people might be, or with Albion, some people might just be chomping at the bit to get it. All right. Yep, 0, 2, and 9. Let's update that accordingly. 0, 2, and 9. Do we like the numbers to the left or the right? Always put the numbers on the right. I'll just stick with that. Especially since the bonus at the top. So it's just $2 per lake. Don't have to worry about the Albion territory bonus, which can actually be quite strong, as I was noticing last night. Okay, that makes it a little simpler. I usually don't put the names, but we got Tom Leon on, they're usually going to be in the video description. Actually played this last night. Might have won, but my objectives were terrible. So hopefully I got that out of the way last night. All right. We're ready. Get rich. All right. Oh, and the other one's permanent foothold. So, man, I got lucky. Yeah, I'll show you real quick. Yeah, get rich or cry trying. That's not going to be that hard on Tagawa, honestly. The game goes my way. I do go third. It's not awesome. And I have to be careful to not get stomped on by Nordic or Melania, honestly. In fact, I feel like I have to seriously consider the possibility of trapping the Tundra right over here. And this is my start right here, actually, the trade for 2 metal first, I think. It could be producing next. That was an old start before I started trading metal and then moving. Okay, so I thought about doing something similar to this with Nordic. I think, but I was considering it in the context of like a possible factory rush. So, oh, Tagawa Innovative? Yes. Yes, it does. Garrett, it does. Definitely. Yeah, this is mine. This is a trade for 2 metal and probably submerge on the village. I should say, at least the way I played Tagawa Innovative, it does make enough coins for this. See, I already got 7. Maybe I gotta trap the Tundra, right? What do we got here, Nordic? He's just rushing for it. Oh, wow. This right here. Both these last two are great. I kind of like the second one better, to be honest with you, because you get the resources too. I mean, he's set up to already get a mech. He takes that. And, I mean, the building's tempting, right? You get the 2 coins for being neighbor to a lake. So that's a 4-point swing right there between taking this and taking this. And if he has to get the power star, it would be a little bit easier. He doesn't have to do a 4-worker produce because, you know, he'll have 2 here and 1 here. So the first produce will go to 4. So he'll produce with 4 workers instead of 3. I think the resources he takes here are definitely it's definitely the metal. So this is an understandable one to think about for a bit. It's got to be metal, right? I mean, I guess he could take oil. Yeah. I mean, that just lets him think about it for a turn. So this is coming out on the water in turn 4. So it could be on me in turn 5. Okay, well, we didn't really want Polani to get a mech on this. Because now, yes, they can invade us at turn 5. Because they have this lake mech on the lake. Good job, Fomoff. Well, way to share that strategy with the world. But he has to take the first and then the third one if he wants to get the mech. Which means no enlist. Not yet. He'll get it soon, though. Yeah. All right, well, that settles that. I have to trap the Tundra, definitely. Where's my metal? What? You got a mech? Isn't that good enough for you? All right. Well, yeah, see, he trades metal. It's no different than if he'd just taken metal off of it and then traded 2 oil for his upgrade. What do we do here? I think I gotta save the combat card trap for Nordic. Hull has no pop, so this has got to be power. And I think that I'm gonna see. I think I have to start with combat card trap. Well, I'm not the combat card trap. It's combat cards or this. I can run out of power if I go this, but it's gonna be a hot minute before my next enlist. So, uh, hmm. Know what I gotta do? I mean, I could produce again. I mean, Polania doesn't have the move upgrade, which is wonderful for me. Because I do have to worry about Ali moving too fast here. But right now, attacking this space would be a huge mistake for him. He would literally go to 0 power. It wouldn't be great for me. All right, we've got with the speed bet coming out here, or if he wants to be a little bit more cautious, he could do Seaworthy here. So if these get sent home, which seems kind of unlikely at this point. Nordic is going to have his 2 mechs and be ready to move to the factory quickly. All right, I got to think about this because normally I wouldn't do that. Normally I would have moved this over the mountain and I'd be starting toward my first mech, but Polania's encounter forces me to play a little bit more defensively here. Yeah, the lake block makes sense. He doesn't want the trap, not for 2 oil. Thing is now I have to move. I want that worker on the mountain. But if I bring the oil with me, oh, enlist factory card. Ooh, wasn't sure we wanted to see that. Ooh, objective already. Well, at least we know they have it. The mechs are going to be slow for Polania, though. We're glad to not have seen a mech factory card. Okay, I have to take this encounter or I won't get one. Oh, it was his factory card was 2 coins for a power and an enlist. I don't like doing this, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get it stolen if I bring it with me. Probably not, but not exactly what I wanted, but I wanted resources, but I think this is the best option, although and this trap is going to be a bluff, unfortunately. Yeah, that's why I went the other direction. Plus, you know, there is the possibility of tier 2 here. Oh. So Polani's going to use the factory card. They could mess up my day by coming down here, but that doesn't help them. And they have an issue with the bid now, because that enlist factory card is going to mess with the bid. Why couldn't we have gotten that? That would have been really nice. They can't take number 3, so it's just a couple pop and some resources for them. And they are at 0 coins. So I think 2 of those just have to be food, right? And then you've got to produce. So, I mean, I think the temptation here is to take metal, but I think that would be a mistake. Okay, yeah, that's a good decision. Oil is a really good decision there. Because now when he produces, he can upgrade something. So that's gonna be pretty key. All right. So Nordic had gone speed, so they're not really in a hurry here. So get one more upgrade. At least. I think I'm gonna upgrade produce. Hmm. So do I... Yeah, I'm going to upgrade produce, but do I do deploy or do I do enlist? I think I do enlist. Right? No, I'm going to do deploy. And I am not going to do the... I'm not going to produce on 3 territories with this. I may regret that, but we'll see. I think it'll be okay. Polania can't get down here without use of a factory card, and that's just a waste of a turn for them. Especially with this bid. They may have to get tier 2 to stay competitive here. Okay. So now, assuming Palladia doesn't want to just ruin my day here and bump all these workers, I mean, I don't think that would be the right move for them. So now we kind of got our engine set up, right? We're going to run out of power is the only problem. Of course, I could have... Suppose if I'd done the triple upgrade, I could have worked a worker over here eventually. And then taken a turn to trade and get another upgrade. Score is probably in my favor at the moment, yeah. This is not a bad idea. Well, there's some metal for Palladia. And the $2 is pretty key right there. The fact that they can do this money neutral, that's pretty key. That was really good for Palladia because that's the last. That's basically 2 turns for them. That's 2 max. So the game just got quicker. And that was the regular move, right? Yeah, it was. Eight power for Nordic. No surprise there. It doesn't look like anybody's going to upgrade. I may have to just Ronin at some point. Nordic with 3 max. Did they upgrade Bolster? They didn't, so I don't know what their other... Are they going to do enlists? So we're not going to move the character this time, as much as I hate it. We can't leave this spot unguarded. And with get rich as an objective, I think as much as I would love an extra power off of this, that I've got to take coin enlist. And we're going to take some combat cards and hope they're not as bad. They are not as bad. They are much better than the ones I had. That's great. I had the game slightly off this whole time, off the screen. One, two, three. Oh, he upgraded his deploy, so that works nicely for him, doesn't it? Even better than I thought it was. And we got to do Ronin, I think. Definitely. And it's time to get some enlists now. Oh, hello. Now this is not really so bad. Oh, no, he's going to leg block. This is really bad for Nordic. And actually, I don't hate this at all. I don't hate this at all. I'm gonna get to move up and put the combat card trap here. So I trapped the Tundra, which I think I had to do. But it does now mean ooh. That takes some cards away from Polani at least. That's nice. Gives me a card. Card back to Polania. Oh wow, I've got some nice cards now. Not too surprising that they come back. So they're not metal on the ground? I guess there wasn't. I thought there was metal on the ground for some reason. I'm going to be up at 7 pop pretty soon if I want it. So, Polania doing all right at the moment. That would be a good place for them to attack right there because I wouldn't get Ronin. But, oh no. Oh, there is metal right there. I'm right, yeah. So Nordic may have just had their game ended. Question is, has Polania, and Polania can enlist using the factory card. My gosh. They're about ready to win. They've already got their I need to spread a little bit. You can't win this turn. Anyone gonna build? I don't think so. But I need to take the next turn off to trade for pop. Because I only have a 7 bid to work with here. Is that even going to do anything for me, though? Take me to 30? It's 3 turns, right? Okay, that's not what I thought Polani was going to do. I think Polani is going to win this, right? The only thing they have done that may get them in trouble here. They don't have a large enough bid on me for it to be too much trouble. They went in the wrong order. Because now they've got to use their factory card to get the power. But once they get the workers here, if they use their factory card, it's just going to end it and they can't spread. The question is, what's my best use? I wish Lonnie will get a coin. Oh, this is hard. I'd get another mech. I think I gotta get another mech because I'll have one more turn, and I think the spread may matter more than tier 2. Um, and we're still, how many coins short are we? We're 5 coins short. It's 4 right there. Remember, the lakes are 2, though. He's got an upgraded move. And there's the factory. I don't think, like, Nordic, you have to do something here. Buys me a turn, though. He still needs one more enlist and the worker star. So I am going to be able to get tier 2, I think. Would really have liked it if Nordic would have built a building, not this turn, but the next. All right, this is 6 points right here. I've got to get on these lakes. I need 1, 2, 3 turns to get to the factory. And he can end the game in 2 turns. And I'll get 2 more turns if I produce another mech, so that would get me to get rich. That's one of them. He's got 8. I'm still gonna be, it's gonna be 10 minus if I expand to another territory. He's got an upgraded move. I've got 3 5s. He just used the triple move. So he can't win 1v1 here on the... Then he could come back and double attack it. Every territory is precious right now. So if I only add 1 more territory as opposed to 2 this turn, that takes me to 32. And then I could add 8 more points off a trade for pop. It's 3 coins, but it will affect my ability to get the factory. Okay. Goes Polania. But now they can't. They could trade. They could produce next turn to get their worker star. One, two, three, four. But is it enough? And Nordic move. Nordic can't move. So how many coins have we set ourselves up to get? The game's either over right now or it's not. The answer is 945. So he gets a 1, 2, 3. He gets a 4 advantage on the bonus. That puts him at 47. He would get to 50. And he split these workers, which I guess does help. 51, I guess, with the extra resource. And I'm going to go to 45. 9, 45. It's 44. 51, 7. That ties. I think he wins. Did this math right? I think I lose this by 1. Guess 4 lakes. So the star puts him at 46. The 2 extra lakes put him at 50. See what he does. Has to win by 3 as it is now. Difference in our bids is 7, right? And he would win a tiebreaker, so he needs 51. Two of these lakes cancel each other out. No, why did you tell him? Oh, why did you tell him? Tom, he's got to figure that out. He's got to figure that out for himself. It's 46, 50, 51 when he adds the food. Yeah, I mean, I'd almost certainly win this game if he doesn't end it right now. Come on, buddy, you can't do that. Did he produce the food? Wait, what happened? Wait. I won. Oh, he produced the workers first and the game ended. The game ended. He's got 50. I've got, or he's got 54. I've got 48, right? $48, and he's got 54. Melania drops to 1. Oh my gosh. I won. I won. Oh, he says he has a food on his screen. Yeah, it was a lucky break. Yeah, I mean, it does suck for Ali. It does. But I mean, I also feel like Tom shouldn't have jumped in to tell him that it was going to be an extra coin. I feel like that's like if he had asked, is two resources worth one coin? I think you say yes. But I mean, I think he's got to ask that question differently. And maybe that's me being a stickler. Maybe that's legal background coming through. But it's the rules. I mean, it's a misclick. Apparent is what it is. Well, it's a combination. It's either a misclick or a rule issue. What is his? Yeah, his score preview says the same thing. It the score preview says the same thing. It's not a glitch. I mean, that's the rule, guys, right? Because like you get 2 power. No. Okay, so if you get like whole can get interrupted mid encounter if if first choice a 6-star he has weighed in on the counter once specifically. The production so actions that get a 6-star midway through. So actions that get a 6-star midway through alt the game. I mean, it doesn't feel the best, but I mean, if you lose, like I lost a game basically because I clicked on something, realized it was a mistake. Now I did intend to click on it, but it was a strategic mistake to click on it. This was a rule mistake. No, he did not technically win. He technically lost. It is not. So if he'd produced food and then the workers, he would have won by 1 coin on the tie. He would have won on the tiebreaker. But he produced the workers first, which ends the game, and he doesn't get to. I know it. He's in chat talking about how it sucks. It does. It does. I feel bad for him. But I mean, I have lost games to things like this. I have. It does cut both ways. Like, it's also not fun to get a bad encounter. It's also not fun to misclick. Like, what if I had misclicked a territory, right? Like, for instance, I've lost games because in my head I was gonna attack with the. Like, here's an example, okay? If you engage in an attack with 2 units with Albion, and you just have to win either combat to end the game, and you don't have enough power to win either, but you say you have only power to win one, and you need 2 combats to end the game, and you attack with a character and with a mech. And if you get win the first combat, you're going to have enough points that if he wins the second one, you win, or if you win the second one, you win. Well, if you attack with the mech first, then you don't get to lay the trap. And what if not laying the trap is the difference? Well, that's a rule mistake, and that's clicking and going out in the wrong order. But I know it feels bad, but this is the rule, and this is what you do. And if it was an in real life game, you can. I mean, let's see if I can find errata from Jamie. He's asking if he can ask someone, let's see, on ending with 6 stars. Mid action. All right. I mean, I'm looking for, there's this. Doesn't have production specifically. That's Jamie there. That's a wingspan FAQ. What else does it say? Mid action. and combinations. Scythe core game. I mean, it's fine. I get it, Ellie. It's, I mean, all right. Well, I mean, it, no, yeah, it is what it is at this point. Like, it's hard. It's a hard one because you, like, if he was doing his final move action and he left a worker somewhere he didn't intend, or didn't pick up his workers or something like that, it wouldn't, we wouldn't say, oh, you would have won if you hadn't moved improperly. You win the game. You just wouldn't win. And this is a rule issue. This is not a. If this was a digital edition interface glitch, I would give it to him, no question. But it's not a digital edition interface issue. It is the rule. And let's see. I'll get this up here on the screen. Just show you guys. Those of you still watching here, which is actually everyone. It looks like. So, oh, well, that's not what we want. Not color source. We need browser. Right. Let's put no window. Not browser source. Inside baseball of OBS going on over here. All right. This is dim because I have my monitor calibrated for HDR, so that's unfortunate. But let's size this properly. And let's put it below video capture so we can talk about this. Can you guys read that? I don't know if you can. I'll zoom in. All right, this is somebody talking, and Jamie weighs in here. All right, but he weighs in about a combat star. But the rest of this goes. Okay. Bottom row action grants a 6-star. Gain the primary benefit coins and recruit ongoing benefit. Page 28 of the rule book. Top row action gains a 6-star. The game ends immediately. Don't get to perform the bottom row action. That doesn't apply here. So if a move action takes a character onto an encounter and another combat unit is in combat, the encounter does not occur and a 6-star the encounter does not occur. This is correct. If you get an encounter but you win on the combat, you don't get to use the encounter. This is a little different though because it looks like the move action is separate from the encounter itself. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Does reducing 6 workers game Scythe? Well, okay, that's 8 workers immediately in the game. I don't want Google AI. We need to find the complete rule book here. Your side says 8, but I think it's game 11. Is this the complete rule book? No, this is the regular. We need the complete rule book. We're not. Let's see. I have the one upstairs, but we're gonna see if we can pull up the low res black and white one. It's in here somewhere. In Stone Myers. Where do we see it, guys? Where do we see it? Complete rulebook. Is this it? Here it is. Okay. So let's search this. 6-star. End game. Produce. 58. So I'm looking for the ways it describes produce. Maybe take the produce action. Um, that's a Fenris thing. The Atama. And this is just the Atama. Those are just Atama rules. Can the Polani player choose options 2 and 3 and resolve option 3 first so that options 2 production So you can resolve encounter options in any order you wish as Polania. Okay, so let's see what the it says about end. Game end and scoring. That's going to be at page 45. Time is it? 7:17. We're good. My son's got his game in about 45 minutes. Have all 8 workers on the board. Have all 8 workers on the board. Player places their 6-star. So that places the 6-star on the triumph track. Actually, let's put a space in front of end here, so we're not getting all the ones that say spend. All right. Wait, what'd that say? Okay, that's just about Polani's scoring bonus. Oop. The 6-star immediately ends the game. Top row actions. That's just talking about produce. It's not really clear there. Movement ends. Movement ends. It's an encounter. Movement ends on encounters. Like here's an example. Recruit ongoing bonus. If you put your 6-star down, we all know this. If you put your 6-star down and it's a bottom row action, the players to your right and left don't get the enlist bonus, which matters sometimes if it's really close because passing them a coin could make them win the game. But if more than one player would gain the recruit bonus, the active player goes first, followed by the player to their left and the player to their right. So if you pass a power to the player on your left and they get the 6-star, the game ends and the player on the right doesn't get a 6-star, or it doesn't get a power. But it's less likely to give them a star than come into play like a power tiebreaker. So they wouldn't get the power on your left. Like if they got the power star on your left and they wouldn't get a power on your right, and that wouldn't break a tie. Combat, that's not going to be relevant. winner. If your 6 star is placed, but you still have combat remaining on your turn, the game ends and any units you move back. So, I mean, this is another example of, and I think Jamie, I'd have to find it, has specifically weighed in to say, if you choose an option on Polania that ends the game, then choosing a second action, you can't choose a second action. Rule books like in like 150 pages now. End of the game, the factory. Do with factory. End of game territory control. Transporting resources. Stars are worth coins at the end of the game. The game immediately ends when a player places their 6 star, even if they have other things they could do that turn or other things would happen afterwards. So let's see what the edge case is. The 6 star comes from taking bottom row action, gain the primary benefit the coins accrued on it bonus before playing the star. If you have units, you must undo that portion of the move action. You place a star for total popularity or total power. Resolution module. These are modular rules. Modular rules. Or this is a bunch of Fenris stuff. Errata. Forcing workers to complete. Completing objectives. These are variants. Resources. Turns and players mats. Move action. Produce action. Are the resources in the actual game produced at the same time, or are they done one by one as it seems to be programmed in the game? I've been looking for that too. I mean, in-game triggers. Oh, that's campaign. I mean, I have not found anything that definitively says one way or the other on your question, Garrett. Episode 1, the new era. This is Fenris. Can we skip past Fenris, please? Close your eyes for no spoilers on Fenris, I guess. I'm going to go kind of quickly, but this is Automa. Okay, so the rest of this is not going to be relevant. I mean, I think the closest we get to what did it say? Immediately ends? trying to find where it was before. Errata. I mean, generally inside, every time you do something, you every time you do something, the game immediately ends when a player places their 6-star token. Jamie, what do you got to say? Jamie Stegmeyer on producing in Scythe. What do we got? What do we got? Doesn't really say anything about it there. They all may produce. So, thing is, Jamie's not a lawyer here. He's not. So, when you produce, you select 2 different territories you control, and all workers on those territories may produce, which doesn't really get us all the way there because it says you choose the territories and then you may produce. So, you have 2 different set of I mean, this wouldn't. Whenever you produce, you can produce those 2 territories. I mean, it sounds like there's actually 2 different decisions, as like the territories you're going to produce on and whether they produce. Um, so I. Scythe ending game. Hear about Google AI. I mean, here's the thing. In Scythe, you can always turn down any benefit. So you can choose not to produce. Question is, can you choose to produce afterwards? 6-star. Jamie, weigh in anywhere here. That's a bottom row action. That's different. I mean, here's the way I see it. Like, I don't think anyone, if no, it doesn't seem like anyone 100% knows the rules or that it's addressed in the rule book, whether or not within the produce action the choices are sequential or simultaneous. It is not completely specified anywhere in the 150-page rule book. But what is specified in the digital edition interface is that you choose to produce 1 spot at a time. And you can choose whether or not you produce before you choose it. So I can go through and say this spot will produce, this spot won't produce, this spot will produce, this spot won't produce, but then I have to sequentially pick the order I produce in. So that combined with the fact that any choice abruptly ends the game. Like if I was Polania and I landed on the like a 2 power and 1 pop and a $2 for 3 pop encounter, and I had 14 popularity and the power star was going to win the game. If I hit option number 1 first, I don't get to hit option number 2. I would never not pick those two as Polania, unless, you know, I didn't want the second one, just like I wouldn't not produce on 2 in I'm getting things in Discord. Is it relevant to this or is it just related to something else? Yeah, I mean, I think with Digital Edition presenting it as sequential and it's just that is the choice. Like if you choose to produce, the rules are very clear that once you get 8 workers, the game ends. And if you get a 6-star, you can immediately place a star when you get 8 workers. And it's what is very clear in the rules is the game immediately ends when a player places their 6-star token, even if they could have done, even if there were other things they could do that turn or other things that would happen afterwards. And the production of a food is both things that you could have done on that turn or something that would have happened afterwards. And you can make the case that the rules don't completely specify that production on individual spaces is afterwards in time, but they are separate decisions, and the Digital Edition presents them as sequential decisions. Well, here's the thing. In an actual in real life game sitting around the table, if somebody said, I produce to 8 workers, I produce 8 workers and every time I've ever played a game in real life in Scythe, you don't drop everything down on the hexes at once. You decide them one by one. You'd say, I produce 3 workers. Now I produce the food. Okay? That's how you would mechanically do it in an in real life game. So I think, practically speaking, in a casual in real life game sitting around the table, no one would be like, oh, you just put down the 3 workers, the game's over. Or someone was, I think everybody would have to say, okay, that's right. That's a bummer. Like I wouldn't do that in a casual game around the table, but this is a tournament game. And I think if someone was playing in an in real life tournament and someone put 3 workers on the board, I think somebody would say, now you have to place a 6-star. And I think that would be right. And so, Sibishisum, I think to answer your question, I don't think he technically won. I think he technically lost. And I think that's the feels bad. The feels bad is the loss was technical. The feels bad is if we sat down and he like planned out the turn. What he ended up getting to do did not correspond with what he did. But I think it fits into the same category as a misclick. I think it fits into the same category as taking your encounter options out of order on Polania. I think it fits in the same category of taking the Albion non-character combat and not getting to lay a trap before the character combat. It's the same as if like you didn't know the rules, so you like you moved a mech off base to have 1 combat and a mech from a spot to another spot to have your second combat. Well, if you win with the mech that came off base first, then the second mech moves back to its original spot, and that's an additional territory. Then if you took the combat with the mech that moved from a spot, leaving it empty, and then the one that attacked second would go back to home base. So there are things like that, and not knowing the rule does not change that. I think that with Digital Edition treating it like sequential decisions, that unless there is something in the rules or errata or something that Jamie has said at some point, I think that I mean the Digital Edition makes it very clear there's sequential decisions, and it always has. So there's also the Facebook group. an FAQ. Oh. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I don't see. I'm searching the Discord right now for any mentions of produce. Um, um, I mean, that's 175 Discord messages. I'm not going to go through all those right now. Let's limit it to Scythe. In that will narrow it in Scythe. And we're gonna search to produce. Yeah, I don't see anything there. There's also a Facebook group. All right, well, we'll pick this up later. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll I'm gonna call this a win. We'll see what everybody else on the tournament coordinator team thinks, but yeah, I think it's a win. It's not a feels good win. It's a misclick win, but it's a win.